All right, I'm now recording. Hi guys, my name's Maddy. Welcome to 3x3x3. If you've been doing this for the past couple weeks, it's been a 45-minute format, but today it's going to be an hour long. So what that looks like is we're going to be doing some strength training. We're going to be doing 3 big blocks of work. Within each of those blocks, there is a minute of upper body, a minute of lower body, a minute of core, and then some cardio. And we'll repeat that 3 times. So that's kind of where you get all of those 3s from our name. And you'll get the hang of it once I explain it. But I'm going to go ahead and read our waiver, and then we'll get started. So in order to make these classes as freely accessible to our participants, we will be using a verbal warning and assumption of risk at the beginning of the class. Participation in this online class is voluntary. Physical activity programs may result in injury, and by participating, you assume the risk of injury that may result from your participation. We strongly recommend that you participate from a space that is suitable for this activity. For example, make sure that you have moved nearby furniture and other potential hazards. If you are participating in a yoga class or a class that involves lying on the ground, we recommend using a mat, or if you don't have one, a carpeted area. Participants are encouraged to stop if they experience pain or injury and should seek appropriate medical advice or care as needed. William & Mary Health and Wellness strongly recommends that each participant have an annual physical examination and follow the advice of your healthcare provider before participating. Awesome. All right, so we're going to get started. Basically, throughout this quarantine period, I've been doing a little bit different warm-up just because it's a nice body weight warm-up and it allows us to get all of the muscles of our body nice and warm and doesn't require any music, because I would usually do a 32 count warm-up. But come and meet me at the end of your mat. Forgot to mention, for this class, you'll need a mat, water, towel. If you'd like to have some weights or cans nearby, feel free. But all of the moves that I planned for today are body weight only. All right, so meet me at the end of your mat. All we're gonna do is, with a nice micro bend in the knees, bring those hands down to the floor. Hope we've got someone joining. I'm gonna let them in. All right. All right, cool. So go ahead and meet those hands on the floor and walk them out into a nice big plank. And from here, we're going to take one of those hands, it doesn't matter which one, and bring it up to the outside of those hands. And I'm going to face you guys so y'all can see. All right, so from here, what we're going to do is take the same hand as the hand of the foot that's forward, and we're going to make a fist, connect that directly above our elbow joint, and then nice and carefully, we're bringing that elbow down to the floor for 5 reps. So each of the kind of sections of this warm-up, the world's greatest stretch as we're doing, has 4 sections, so we're going to do each of those for 5 reps. I've got one more here. Just bring that elbow down, and next what we're going to do is essentially take that same hand that was connected above the elbow joint. We're going to thread the needle underneath that standing hand that's on the ground, and then open up towards that knee. This way we're opening up through that thoracic and lumbar spine, the upper and middle part and lower part of the back, for again 5 reps here. So we're following that hand with our gaze, and I've got one more here. All right, guys, and when we're done with that, let's go ahead and put that hand back on the ground to straddle, put those hands around that foot. What we're going to do is essentially rock between a nice hip flexor stretch with our front knee bent, so a nice long lunge, and I'll turn to the side so you guys can see this part. Nice long lunge with that hip flexor stretch, alternating between this and bending that back leg, straightening the front one, letting that toe pop up off the ground for a hamstring stretch. So nice hip flexor stretch, feeling it in that back leg, and then popping that toe up, keeping that back as straight as possible, a nice neutral neck for 5 reps. And again, this stretch is great for getting the backs of those legs and the fronts of those legs nice and warm. This is my last one. And from here, what we're gonna do is bring those hands up to heart center. Nice tall chest. Again, I'll face you guys. We're gonna bring our hands together in the front, and essentially we're gonna do a nice big pulsing lunge, 1 inch up, 1 inch down. As we go down, we're gonna squeeze, engaging our back muscles and our chest muscles, squeezing those hands together, pressing them together, and as we come up, we release. This is my way of hopefully getting those nice big chest and back muscles, a little bit of those biceps and triceps engaged from the beginning as well. Because while we're on the ground getting kind of our shoulders ready, we don't necessarily get to warm up our chest and back when we're doing this move. So again, just 1 inch up, 1 inch down, feeling those quads already. Last one. Awesome. And when you're done, go ahead, cartwheel those hands back to the ground. Into that nice long lunge with those hands. Bring that front foot to meet the back one. Brace that core. Bring that butt in the air and inchworm our hands up and back towards our feet. All right, guys, we're gonna do the other side. So again, a nice micro bend in the legs. Let's bring those hands down to the mat and bring them out into a nice solid plank. Holding here for a second, remembering which leg we already did, and bring that opposite foot to the outside of those hands. Again, I'm gonna turn towards you guys so y'all can see. And this time, same exact thing. We're going to bring the same hand of the foot that's forward, connecting it above that elbow joint and bringing that elbow as close to the ground as possible. Feeling it a little bit in those hip flexors, a little bit in that groin for 5 reps. And 5. When you're ready, go ahead and thread that needle underneath that standing arm and open up towards the knee that's forward, following those fingertips with our eyes, with our head. So we're getting into those cervical or upper spine, neck part of our body. And I didn't get to say it, but hi, Jenna. Hopefully you're doing good. Excuse me, doing well. My sister gets on me for saying that. All right, guys, last one there. Let's bring our hand to straddle around that foot. Again, we're gonna rock between our nice big hip flexor stretch just like this, feeling it in that back leg where our hip connects to our abdominal muscles. And then we're bending it backwards, popping that toe up off the ground, just rocking between those for 5 reps. Nice neutral neck, gaze is about 6 inches in front of us. I'm just turning my head so you guys can hear me. Whew. All right, 2 more here. And if you'd like, feel free to hold any of these a little bit longer. One of them feels good. This is definitely a shortened warm-up because we got lots in store for us. All right, guys, last little move. Let's bring our chest upwards. Again, connect our hands in prayer together, engaging as we pulse up and down, 1 inch up, 1 inch down, engaging those chest muscles, those back muscles, and releasing. Breathing through this. It's amazing how much this warm-up still makes me sweat. Not like dripping or anything, but just like getting a little heat going in my body. All right, guys, last one. Come on up, cartwheel those hands down around that foot. And let's go ahead, bring that forward foot to meet the back one, coming into a nice solid plank. Brace that core, hips go to the sky as we inchworm it back. We'll see that move again through the rest of class. But all right, that's our warm-up. Again, if you need any more stretches, feel free to do it. Grab some water, and I'm gonna go through what our first circuit's gonna look like for today. So, our first circuit is going to work our back, our glutes, and then our upper and lower abdominal muscles. So, our upper body move, you're gonna meet me on your back, on the mat. We're gonna be doing a supine push-up. So, our knees are bent and pointing up towards the sky. We're gonna bring our arms out into a T and then bend them so that our fists, our knuckles, are up, pointed to the ceiling. So if you've got rings on, they should be pointed up to the ceiling. From here, we're gonna be working our back. So we're gonna press into our elbow muscles, or sorry, not our elbow muscles, into our elbows as we contract through the back and push ourselves up. So it's basically the exact opposite movement of a push-up. We're pushing up into those elbows, lifting up, nice neutral neck again, bracing to that core, and I'll give some more form cues as we go through that. Then for our lower body, we're gonna flip onto our stomachs, onto our fronts, and come into a nice big tabletop. So our wrists are directly underneath our shoulders, our knees are directly underneath our hips, and our hips are nice and square on the mat. From here, we're gonna alternate between fire hydrants and donkey kicks. All right, so we're gonna lift one of our legs up off the mat. We're gonna bring it out to the side like we're peeing on a fire hydrant. Our foot is nice and flexed. We bring it back, and then we're gonna kick upwards. So that's how we're going to get into our gluteus medius here, and our gluteus maximus right back there. All right, and what we're gonna do is essentially 1 minute will be on one side, 1 minute on the other, and then we'll flip-flop in that last block of work. And then for our core, we're gonna be doing a cross crawl with toe taps. So what that's gonna look like, our knees are gonna come into a Pilates tabletop. So same thing as if we were on our front, but our knees are directly over our hips. Our fingertips are to our temples. And essentially what we're gonna do is bring, we're gonna bring one knee towards our elbow. So opposite knee to opposite elbow as we tap the other foot on the ground. And then we're gonna swap, just like this. Just like that. And I'll give some more options when we get there. All right, guys, let me pull up my timer really fast. Oh my gosh, I also didn't even put the Spotify in the chat, so let me do that for you guys. Sorry about that, guys. Hello. All right. You'd think that after doing this for a while, I'd have everything figured out, but nope. Still as frantic as I always was. All right, guys, let's go ahead. Meet me on your backs for our supine push-ups. We'll go for 1 minute here. Ready, set, go. All right, guys, so bringing those, our elbow should be in line with our shoulders. All we're doing is pressing up and lowering down. Again, nice, slow, and controlled. Feeling this a little bit in the back of those shoulder muscles. Mine are already a little sore, so I'm definitely feeling that. And then as we do this, we're bracing to that core and trying to squeeze those shoulder blades together just a little bit so that we're working through those back muscles. Feeling a little bit of shake at the top as we hold it, and then releasing back down to the ground. It is just as important that we get up, and then as we release down, that we're fighting against gravity. That fight against gravity is just as important for building our muscular capacity as that push upwards. So make sure that you're really focusing on it. Woo, I'm really shaking, oh my gosh. Who knew? All right, guys, 3, 2, 1. Great job. Let's go ahead, flip it on over, meet me in that tabletop position. Remember, we've got those fire hydrants to donkey kicks. So staying on one leg, pick one of your legs. Doesn't really matter which one for this point, because we'll swap. But also remember which leg you've done so we can do the opposite one on the next round. So really important here, guys. If you'd like to, you can tap in between those moves, or if you want an extra challenge, you can keep that knee up off the ground and don't drop it. That way, we're not letting anything get in the way. We're really working that glute. So on this fire hydrant, what we're doing is keeping a nice 90-degree bend in that knee, and we're just lifting that knee up off the ground, kind of making a right angle with our knee that's on the ground and our knee that's upwards. And then with that donkey kick, we're pushing upwards like you're gonna punch out a ceiling tile with your flexed foot. So really important to keep that foot flexed here. Also important to try to keep your weight nice and even in those hands. It's really easy to kind of throw your weight over to the other side. Last one here. Woo! And go ahead and put that knee back on the ground. Let's flip over onto our back now. We've got those cross crawls with a toe tap. So again, crawl as we tap on the ground. This is a great place to start with those fingertips to temple. Make sure we're not tugging on that neck too much. We're rotating through that chest, not with that elbow, right? We're not going here. We are lifting our shoulder blades up off the mat and twisting all the way with that chest. That's how we engage all of those abdominal muscles. All right, guys, if you'd like to take it up, we can also extend those legs and bring it into a nice full bicycle. This is a great option if you're not feeling everything that you'd like to be from this move. Or if you'd like to stay here with me, that's also totally fine. And the great thing about bicycle too, it's very moldable to what you'd like to do today. So if you want to try something a little extra, maybe put them a little bit higher in the air. That'll make it a little less challenging, right smack in the middle. All right, go ahead and stop there, guys. Woo. Hopefully our abdominal muscles are feeling it just a little bit. That's one round. We're gonna go ahead and meet me on our backs once again for that supine push-up. I want you guys really thinking about fighting gravity on this time. Ready, set, go. We're gonna push into those elbows, squeeze, 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 and release. So really important here, once again, that we are bracing that core. On this round, I want you guys to think about where your lower back is, right? If you've taken my classes before, you know I'm always talking about loving on our lower backs. So making sure that every time we press up, our lower back is pressed into the mat. That way we're nice and protecting it It's a great way to make sure that our core is engaged, because every move we do in this class has got to have our core nice and engaged. And again, if we want a little extra, we can hold just a little longer at the top, but otherwise, we're going up and then fighting gravity on the way down. Trying not to strain that neck too much, trying to keep it nice and neutral, just as it would occur naturally in our spine. 3, 2, and the last one there. Awesome. All right, guys, go ahead, roll it on up, come into that tabletop position. Remember, we're switching sides this time, so for me, so I'm gonna move so you guys can see me. I'm gonna use my left leg now, so make sure we got a nice set tabletop and begin once you're ready. So really important is that we don't do too many moves of this nature where we do kind of one side and then the other. But anytime that we do, it is super, super important, you guys, that we make sure that we're doing the same option that we did on one side on the other, unless, of course, you have some sort of injury. And in that case, feel free to take a lower or higher option depending on which side you're on. But so what that means is that if we tapped on the last round in between these moves, I want you to tap on this round as well. All right, remembering to flex that foot. And really important with this, right, is that as we fatigue, it gets easier for us to really pitch that weight onto the opposite side. What I want you guys to focus on is thinking about training your hips, keeping those hips square to the mat, right? If we had headlights on our hips, they should be trained on the mat. Last one there. All right, guys, flip it on over to our back. This is a nice little set. We don't even have to stand up. Come into that cross crawl with toe tap. Ready, set, go. And again, if you would like, you can feel free to take it into that full expression of a bicycle. This one is killer. I just recently found out, though, that it does get easier if you lift those feet up a little bit higher. So sometimes that's an option that I like to experiment with. Anything that you guys would like to try, this is a great atmosphere to do so. We're bracing to that core. Once again, thinking about where that lower back is. Even with this move, anytime we're on our back, we should make sure we know exactly where that lower back is and where it should be. And in this case, it should be staying on the ground. And if you need to, feel free to take it back down. Or maybe you've been here the whole time, and that is absolutely fantastic. Your body's gonna thank you no matter what, so breathe through this, almost there. 3, 2, 1. Maybe a nice full body stretch here. Grab some water if you need it. This is our last time through these moves, guys. The great thing about this class is that, and about this kind of setup, if you really dislike one or all of the moves, we only have to do them 3 times. This is the last time. Let's really make them count. All right, meet me on your back for those supine push-ups. Ready, set, go. So with each of these moves being the last time we're gonna do them, I want you guys to think about, and I'm gonna ask you for the 3 times that we do this last section, right, to think about how you can challenge yourself, right? For each of these moves, it might be different. It might mean maybe we're gonna contract those muscles just a little bit harder with each and every rep. Maybe it means we're gonna try to speed it up while maintaining control to try to get more reps in. And maybe it means that you are really just going to power through and finish, right? And that is totally, totally fine. I applaud you. So anything that you guys can do to really challenge yourself, I urge you to do right now. This is a great time to do it. Still breathing through this. Thinking about where that lower back is. We are almost there, guys. Let's go and get 3 more reps in. Last one, and done. Great job. All right, so for this one, we're gonna do half on one side, half on the other. I will let you guys know when it is time to switch. Ready, set, go. Make sure that tabletop is nice and set. Again, fire hydrant to donkey kick. So with each of these moves, your knee should be at a nice 90-degree angle. If you've got a mirror, which I don't expect that you do, but look at yourself in the mirror, or if you'd like to turn your video on, more than welcome to check yourself out. Make sure that we're doing it properly. We're squeezing to that glute, feeling a little bit of engagement in that gluteus medius and the side of the glute and the gluteus maximus. All right, guys, switch it up. So again, make sure that tabletop is nice and set before we begin this move. Knees are directly underneath our hips. And what I was saying last time, we're trying to make sure that our headlights that are on our hips are just making nice big circular beams. That's going to help us. It's a good image to help us keep our hips nice and square to the mat. 2, 1, and place and finish. All right, guys, let's flip it right back onto our backs. For our last time, we've got those cross crawls. Let's think about how we can challenge ourselves. Ready, set, go. Maybe that means that we stay in this bicycle a little bit longer. Maybe it means that we try for half of the set to be in this bicycle. Maybe it means we try to take less breaks. Maybe we try to get a little bit lower in this bicycle. There's lots of ways that we can challenge ourselves, which is one of the reasons that I'm so big on this class. And hopefully after today, you guys will be too. Halfway, if you need a little break, feel free to take one. And then come right back into it. Maybe the same option, maybe taking it up. Breathing through this. This one is no joke, guys. Woo. We're almost there. Let's get through it. Twisting through that chest. Shoulder blades up off the mat. 3, 2, 1, hold. Woo. Great job. All right, guys, we've got a cardio move. We're gonna do some hopscotchers, all right? So find some room. We're here for a minute. If you have played hopscotch before, you know exactly what this looks like, but we're gonna hop with 2 feet out, and then as we come in, we hop with 1 foot. Swapping up just like this. All right, lots of ways you can make this count, and I will walk through those. Let's begin. Ready, set, go. Takes a little bit of coordination, a little bit of agility. If you'd like to take it up a bit, you can also bring those hands in. If you don't want to be jumping today, we can just be tapping. That even takes some thought for me. Now I gotta get right back into it. All right, guys, lots of ways that we can take this up. For now, I just want y'all to think about using the ground as a springboard to really bounce up. That means absorbing the shock in those knees. If we get a little bit lower into it, get deep in that jump. Whew, we are almost there, guys. And hopefully you're feeling nice and warm. You're feeling excited to be here. I know I am. Almost there, almost there. Make it count. Maybe speed it up a little bit. 2, 1, and done. Beautiful job. All right, guys, grab some water for me, please. We're gonna go ahead and jump right into our next round. We're doing pretty good on time. So this next one we're gonna do, we're gonna work our chest, our calves, and then also our stabilizer muscles in our core. All right, so for our chest, we're gonna be doing some push-ups. You're welcome, everyone. So we can be in knees, toes, or tabletop position, but what I want you guys to focus on is making sure that our hands are in line with our shoulders and with our chest. All right, so a little bit wider than our shoulder blades, but they're in line with our chest. From here, what we're gonna do is 1 push-up, just like this, and then we're gonna rotate and open to one side and hold for about 2 seconds. Doesn't have to be a nice long hold, but we're bracing our core, getting into that chest, pushing out and up, just like that. All right, and then we're gonna stand it on up for our lower body. We're gonna be working our calves. So this is a great move. If you do have some cans to incorporate them, but if not, no worries. You can just put those on your shoulders, hold them there. But what we're gonna be doing is a calf raise and a hold for 3 seconds, and then we release. So very, very simple move, right? Lots to focus on, and I'll walk us through some different form cues when we get there. And then for our core move, we're gonna be doing something that we saw from the beginning of class. We're gonna start at the end of our mat. We're gonna be doing an inchworm into 6 cross climbers. All right, so from here, nice micro bend in the knees. We brace our core, bring our hands down, walk it out into a plank. Here we're gonna do 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 mountain climbers. Brace that core, butt goes up in the air as we bend a little bit with our knees, and we come up. That's what our whole combination is gonna look like. We can speed up those mountain climbers if you'd like. but I want the control there. All right, guys? So let's come down to the mat. Hopefully y'all are feeling ready for our next circuit. We're gonna begin with those push-up rotations. And I'm gonna put my camera down just a little bit so y'all can see me better. All right. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, begin. So again, knees, toes, or tabletop. Push up, press out, and open. All right, and as I'm on my knees, what that means is that one knee stays on the ground, and the other one opens up and lifts up kind of into a plank position, or a side plank position almost, as I rotate. We're just alternating with these rotations. And guys, in order to get really good and really big into those chest muscles, we can speed it up just a little, still feeling that control though, and making sure that as we do these push-ups, our chest does not come past our elbow creases, all right? If we're here, that's fine. If we're all the way down in that 90-degree angle, that is also great, but I don't want to see us going anywhere past that. I want us pressing into the floor, pressing away from it as we push up. That's how we're going to really get that activation in those chests. 2, last one here. Beautiful. All right, let's stand it on up. Yep, I'm going to be cut off. All right, cool. So calf raises, guys. Again, if you have the option, you can grab some cans or some weights, but otherwise, we're just holding for 3, 2, 1, and releasing. A little bit of a balance challenge as well. And if that's too long, we can definitely cut that in half. Just go for 1 little second. But I really want us to focus on, as we're at the top, we're squeezing through those calves. So big back part of the leg. Squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Even go tracking a little bit through those hamstrings. And trust me, this may seem like a very simple move, but you'll feel it as you're walking up the stairs tomorrow. All right, guys, if you want, you can put those hands on your hips. Anywhere that really helps you keep that balance is totally fine. But really important, let's not lock those knees out. Want to make sure that we're still getting blood flow all the way down through our legs so that our calves are nice and nourished as we work them. All right, almost there. 3, 2, 1, and down. Whew. Feeling that just a little bit there. We'll feel it in the next one. All right, guys, meet me at the end of your mat. We've got that inchworm to mountain climbers, 6 of them. Obviously, you can do less or more. Ready, set, go. Bracing that core as we plank out, holding that plank just for a sec, and then coming out into 6 mountain climbers. Brace, and come right back up. Again, I demoed them a lot slower, so if you'd like to take that option, please feel free, and I'll show that now, or you can speed it up. But the main thing is that we keep those hips as square as possible, and we're crossing those knees, one opposite knee to opposite elbow, so we get a little bit of oblique movement in there, all right? Brace, 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 hold, again, slow and controlled. And those 6 mountain climbers, kind of like I said, it's really just a suggestion. If you'd like to do 8 or 10, that is A-okay in my book. The main thing though, is that we're really bracing that core, we're working our stabilizer muscles as we move around quite a bit. Wherever you're at, go ahead and stop, hold that plank, and then come right back down. All right, we're coming back into those push-ups. If you need some water, go ahead and grab it. You'd be surprised, right, how much working these, they're big muscles, right, but we're really working them sort of in standalone ways, so you'd be surprised. All right, guys, let's push up. Ready, set, go. Up, and then we rotate to open. So on this round, right, last time we really focused on perfecting that push-up. This time, we're also working that core as we rotate. So let's really brace through that core. Use our core and our chest muscles to drive ourselves up and into that rotation. All right. As we come up, we're squeezing through the muscle directly underneath our armpit. That's directly where that pectoralis major muscle or our big chest muscles connect to the rest of our body. So that's exactly what we want to be feeling this movement. Check in with yourself. Make sure those hands are still in line with that chest. We're still not going below that 90-degree angle. We're exhaling as we press up of that push-up. Last one. Beautiful. All right, guys, stand it back on up. In for those calf raises. I'm gonna push them out. All right, ready, set, go. Again, hands wherever you'd like them. And if you'd like and you have a surface to do so, you can also hold on to something. Sometimes that helps if you really just want to focus on that calf muscle engagement rather than that balance. But the balance works a little bit more of those leg muscles everywhere else as well. So lots of options here. We're squeezing, squeezing, squeezing through those calf muscles. There's 2 of them, right? A lot of people might think there's just one, but no, you have 2 on each leg. Feel a little bit of a tug this time around. Again, keeping that nice micro bend and just holding at the top for 3 or less, totally fine as well. I often find that our calves, not necessarily neglected, but they don't necessarily get grouped into our leg muscles when we have leg day or anything like that. So, thought I'd give them some love. All right, last one, 2, 1, and release. Great. Meet me at the back of your mat for those inchworm to mountain climbers. This time, I encourage you to maybe try, just for 1 rep, try those mountain climbers at a little bit of a faster speed. Ready, begin. Brace, brace, brace. Hold in that plank just for a second, and then come into that climber. And again, unlike those bicycles, right, we might not be feeling this necessarily as quite an ache in our core muscles. However, what we are doing is really working those transverse abdominal muscles that wrap all the way around the center of our stomach. And these are the ones that help us protect our lower back and protect all of our movements, right, throughout the day. So super, super important. I always like to incorporate a move that works them. But it's interesting because you may not feel them in the same way that you would your rectus abdominis or your abdominal muscles that we all think about. So making sure that butt stays out of the air for those mountain climbers. It can rise and lower a little bit, but I don't want to see any egregious mountains or rallies. 3, 2, 1, hold, and drop. Great job, guys. All right, again, last round. So I want us really, really focusing on how we can challenge ourselves. Ooh, that's not my water. For me this time, for these push-ups, I think it's gonna be about reps. I'm gonna try to get more reps in than I did last time. Ready, begin. So, challenging yourselves, maybe, if you're in your tabletop, maybe you try a couple of these on your knees. Maybe if you're on your knees, you try a couple of these on your toes, which I may also do. See if I'm feeling a little crazy today. But I really want us to be focusing on, as we're pressing up, we can also kind of envision that we're putting a little bit of a crinkle in between our hands. That will help us engage those pec muscles just a little bit better and also give you guys something to really focus on. All right, we're halfway, guys. Now is a great time to put in and try that extra level. So I'm gonna hop onto my toes just for 1 or 2 reps to make sure I'm nice and even. If you'd like to join me, please feel free. Brace into that core. And we can come back into that first option if you'd like. 2, 1, and stop. Beautiful job, guys. Really nice. All right, for those calf raises, go ahead and get your setup ready. All right, and let's begin. Squeezing, 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 and then releasing down. And again, if we can, let's keep a nice micro bend in those knees. Really important. I do encourage you to really do try to find something to hold on to. It does change the way that your muscles are working just a little bit. So try it. It's not necessarily a crutch or anything like that. Just may change the way it feels. And that's what I'm all about, helping you guys, giving you guys the space to figure out what works best for your workout. There's halfway. So I'm gonna find a little wall. Okay, cool, you guys can still see me. I'm gonna hold it and release. This just takes that balance aspect out of it so I can really hone and shape those calf muscles. Almost like quads. Almost there, guys, almost there. Three, 2, 1. Woo! You can bring that heel to the ground, flex through that calf, and then meet me at the back of your mat for that last inchworm. Here we go. Ready, begin. So again, holding in this plank just for a little bit, maybe 1 second at most, or at least really, and then bringing it right back up. These inchworms can be nice and slow, and they can be pretty fast as well. However, the main driving force behind them, right, is slow and controlled. That's what I want to see. So if you can achieve that with a nice fast one, that is totally fine. And again, guys, I encourage you all to try maybe a faster mountain climber, maybe getting a few more mountain climbers in, warming up our cardiovascular muscles, because you guys know what's up next. A nice big cardio move. Ooh. All right. Almost there. 2, 1. Great job. All right, guys, for cardio, we're gonna be doing some squat jumps. So what that looks like, we're gonna squat down and raise up. If you'd like to touch the floor, you're more than welcome to, but if not, that's totally fine. Grab some water. You got a big push. Whew. All right, 3, 2, 1. Let's begin. We got this, guys. Big push, big push. So if you want to take out the plyometrics, you're more than welcome to just squat. Maybe we squat to a calf raise. That's a-okay. Nice big squat here. Or again, jumping it up. If you'd like to take it up a notch, we can also involve those hands and bat a frame just like me. Whew. All right, big jump. And if you need a little break, shake it out, and then hop right back into it. Really important, guys. Let's try to keep those chests up. I would much rather that you're dropping that butt back and down to touch the floor than that chest. All right, almost there. Ow, this is a gasser. All right, 3, 2, last one. Give yourselves a huge round of applause. Oh my gosh, it is not every day that you can say that you've done squat jumps for an entire minute. It's been a while since we've done those, huh? All right, guys, towel off, grab water, and we're on to our last segment of class. Doing pretty good on time. All right. Although we might be slightly late, if you've got to duck out, that's a-okay. All right, so for our last section, we're gonna be working shoulders, quads, and then our lower core. All right, so for our shoulders, we're gonna be doing a truly body pump move today with some pec decks to work our shoulders, a little bit of our chest as well. So without weights or with weights if you'd like to grab them, we're gonna start kind of in that same position we did in the supine push-ups, but we're gonna lift up, so into goalpost arms, bring our arms together. They don't have to touch, but right in front of those shoulders, just like that. Open again, and then back down. So up, together, back, and down, called a pec deck. All right, then for our lower body, find some room around you. We're gonna be working those quads. So we are going to be basically staying on one side. So one side, then the other side, and then we'll swap halfway through on the last round. We're gonna do a squat, and then take that, one of the legs, it doesn't really matter which one, press it backwards, bring to the center, press out. So tap, back, tap, out to the side. We're staying on this one standing leg, does not move. And then for our last core move, we're gonna be doing some up kicks. These are super fun, working on our lower core, excuse me. So starting with our feet on the ground, hands by our hips, doesn't really matter where they are though. Core press into the mat. Bring our knees up. We press upwards like we're kicking out a ceiling tile. Nice straight legs, flex feet. Bring our knees back to tabletop and down. So up, press up, tabletop, down. Tabletop, press up, tabletop, down. All right, guys, let us begin, just so we'll try not to be as late. All righty, guys. Here we go for those pec decks. So meet me standing. This is a great option to grab those weights if you'd like, but otherwise, a-okay. Gravity will do its job. All right, ready, set, and go. So for this, set our stance, bring our arms up, come up, together, up, back down. I didn't mention our stance, but it should be a little bit wider than our than shoulder height and a little bit wider than our hips. Nice micro bend like we practiced with those calf raises. And really all we're doing here is just fighting gravity, right? Because I want those shoulders and those elbows to stay right in line with our shoulders, all right? Right in that T position. Working through those shoulders, working through that chest. We're breathing through this, guys. We're squeezing those shoulders, squeezing those deltoids, oh my gosh, really making them work. Bracing through that core. We got 10 seconds, let's do this. Pec and deck. Ooh, I'm feeling it. Hopefully you guys are as well. Last one, beautiful. All right, so we've got those lunge to squats. So pick one of your legs. It really doesn't matter which one. And we're gonna be doing our nice long lunge behind us. This leg stays stationary. We tap and we pop right into that squat and then tap back in the center. If you'd like to take it up, you can drop that tap and just alternate between a lunge and that squat. We can also, another option if you'd like to take it up even more, we can extend into a nice big knee lift in between and then bring it out. So knee lift to lunge, knee lift to squat. That way we're challenging that core and we're also challenging those legs all at the same time, which is great, great movement. And my hands are up like this mainly because I teach combat also, so that's where they're pretty natural for me. But your hands can be anywhere you'd like. Hips, they can be out like this. Lots of different things you can be doing. Hopefully you're feeling it in that standing leg. Woo. On this squat, 2, and the last one. I'll say that form cue at the last, on the next round. All right guys, meet me on the ground for our up kicks. Press that lower back into the mat. Here we go. 4-part move. And really what we're doing is trying not to use our hands to press ourselves up and into the ceiling. What we're really doing is using and mobilizing that lower core to press, to lift ourselves up off the mat. So if it helps, maybe you could try crossing your hands over your chest as well. That way we're really not tempted to use them. That's usually the option that I opt for. But as we're in that Pilates tabletop, I want those knees directly over those hips. I know it seems not to be that much of an important piece of this move, but I find that any way that we can challenge those core muscles, it's gonna be better for us. So focusing on that as well as that up kick. Again, punching out that ceiling tile like we saw with those donkey kicks near to the beginning of class. Almost there. 3, 2, last one, and down. Great job, guys. All right, we're coming back to those pec decks. So here we go. Go ahead and set that stance. Nice micro bend in those knees, making sure we're nice and safe. And let's bring our hands out, bend them in, and get ready. We lift up, pull together, back, and down. Again, a seemingly easy move that starts to really burn. All right, guys, so just like when we're on our mats and we're really thinking about where our lower back is, we've also got to protect our lower back when we're standing up. Alrighty, so super important. If you have a mirror, turn to the side, but if not, what we're gonna do is rather than having our butt out, continue with this move while I talk, sorry. Rather than having our butt pressing out, I want you to tuck that pelvis underneath us. That's gonna help you engage that lower abdominal muscle, all right? Help through those stabilizer muscles, through that transverse abdominis that I was talking about earlier. Beautiful job, guys. Maybe you're feeling a little bit of a shake in those shoulders. If you are, feel free to shake it out and then come right back in. But we're almost there, I promise. 3, 2, 1, finish up that rep. All right, and we're going to switch sides now for those lunges and squats. So I did my right leg moving last time, so I'm gonna swap to my left this time. So a nice long lunge behind us, 90-90. And again, kind of like, oh my gosh, I got so much stuff around me, sorry guys. Just stuff that I've placed there myself. But like I talked about, before when we did kind of a half and half move. Anything that we're doing that is requiring both sides of us to be working, I want us to really focus on doing the same option on both sides. Really important that we're making sure we're even. So make sure we're being mindful about that. So for me, of course, since I did this option pretty much the whole time last time, that's where I'm at for this round. Really important too, let's make sure on those lunges, we've got a nice 90-degree bend in that front knee, 90-degree angle in that back knee, and then as we do that squat, our butt comes back and down, our knees are pressing outwards, but they don't go over our toes. All right, you guys are rocking it, absolutely rocking it. Last one. Beautiful. All right, guys, back to those up kicks. Meet me on your mat. Woo. So again, maybe we try to put those hands crossed, kind of mummy form over our chest, or keep them down by our side, but we are mindful that we're not pressing with our hands into the mat. Our feet are flexed as we up kick. We're pressing ceiling tiles out of our ceiling, which is a little bit more impactful when we're at the rec because it actually has ceiling tiles, but that is a-okay. We're breathing through this, making sure we're nice and deep breathing. Four-part move, so make each and every part count. 3, 4, 1, kick, 3, and tap. You can speed that up a little bit if you'd like, but again, the name of the game is slow and controlled. Beautiful. All right, guys, again, our last round. This is our last round though, so really make it count, especially with these pec decks. I know if you're like me, your shoulders are really burning, but that's okay. We're gonna get through it all together. We got one more cardio peak after this, and then we cool down. So here we go. Get into that nice set position. We lift up, press together with those chest muscles, and down. We've really been working on those shoulders. If you'd like something else to focus on, we can once again kind of feel that tug in that muscle directly beneath our armpit as we bring our chests, or bring our arms together, excuse me. They are called Pec Decks for a reason. That is our big chest muscle. But also holding our hands up like this does indeed work our shoulders as well. So kind of a combo move for you guys today. Beautiful job. We are over halfway. Let's see if we can really make these count. Maybe we speed it up just a touch while maintaining control. Brace through that core even more. Making sure we got that nice micro bend in those knees. Breathing through this one. We're almost there. In 3, 2, one more. Finish it up. Great job, guys. All right. So for this one, we're gonna do half and half with those legs. You can either alternate or keep it on one side and then the other, up to you, but I'll let you go. I'm gonna be doing the half and half like we did before. So I'll let you guys know when to swap it out. Again, thinking about that great squat form, that great lunge form, maybe trying one or two of those options that I gave. So whether we're tapping in between just like this, or whether we're keeping it lifted in between like this, or whether we're doing a full extension with that knee lift, all of those are amazing, amazing options. All right, swap it up, guys. So other side, make sure you got room on both sides. And again, we're trying to be as even as possible, which of course is difficult when you've done all the options, but that's okay. Breathing through this. We're almost there. Whew. Two, last squat. Beautiful. All right, guys, this is our last move. Let's really make it count. I love up kicks. I think they're super fun. So hopefully we're gonna have fun in this last round. Ready, begin. What I really challenge you guys to do is to see how far we can push our hips up off the mat, but also see if you can control your hips on the way down, right? It's really easy to press up and then just kind of let them fall. right? But it's all about fighting gravity, just like with every other move that we've done today. So we can really focus on that. That's a great thing to try for this last round. And again, the first time you try it, it's not going to be the easiest. So really, just giving it your all, putting some thought into it, that is a great thing. Less than 15 seconds to go. Let's make these count. Maybe we can get 3 more reps in. That's 1, 2, and 3, 2, 1. Amazing, guys. Go ahead and stand it on up for our last cardio move. Oh, we're actually doing amazing on time. We'll have a nice long cool down for you guys. All right, so all we're doing now, guys, is jump rope. So very simple, but you're gonna follow my direction. I like to do some jump rope little combos. So we'll begin in 3, 2, 1. We're just jumping rope like this. To get our arms involved, though, we are indeed going to swivel our wrists around like we've got a real jump rope. And in true Maddy fashion, let's do some forward and back. So forward and back. If you'd like, you can also jump and make that double time to kind of speed it up a bit. All right, guys, side to side. Beautiful. You can also be doing singular just like this, or if no plyometrics for you today, just a tap, just like that. Bringing those arms around. All right, guys, let's do some rotational. So 1 hip to me, 1 hip back. 1 hip to me, 1 hip back. You can also speed this one up. A little bit more difficult, though, I will say. So I like to do this one at a slower pace. Keep it up, guys. All right, for the last 10 seconds, let's go back to regular. Ready, set, go. And get those jumps in as fast as you can. 2, 1, time. Amazing job. All right, guys, if you have that Spotify playlist pulled up, go ahead and navigate to the last 2 songs. Either one of those will be fine. We're gonna begin our cool down. I'm just gonna have you guys meet me in a nice child's pose. So start in a tabletop, which we were at the beginning of class. What we're gonna do is send those hips over our heels, bring those shoulders and those hands in front of us, and let your body relax into the mat. All right, if you'd like to, you can kind of connect those toes, spread those knees away from each other to get deeper. That's where I like to sit my child's pose, but it is all up to you. Feel a nice stretch through those shoulders, which we just worked, so it's good for us. And a nice stretch as well through that back, through those legs, maybe even a little bit. And we're just breathing here, just really relaxing. Thanking our bodies for all of the amazing work it did today. I'm so happy that you guys came. Just breathing, breathing, breathing here. All right, and when you're ready, we are going to come back up into, excuse me, our tabletop. All right, and we're gonna move through some cat-cow positions, right? These are great when we worked our chest and our back just like we did today. So we'll start with a nice neutral spine. All right, and from here, what we're gonna do is tuck our chin to our chest and draw our belly button up into our spine as we round through it, almost like there's a string pulling ourselves up from the ceiling. That chin is nice and tucked. I'm just making sure you guys can see me and hear me, but chin is nice and tucked. And then when you're ready, go ahead and press that gaze up to the ceiling. Let that stomach drop down to the mat and look up. Just breathing through this. Go back up into that cat position. Run through the spine, feeling that stretch, really pulling apart those shoulder blades. And back into that cow position. Pressing through that chest, feeling a little bit of a stretch to that back here as well. Maybe a little pop if you're like me. All right, guys, let's do 3 more of these total at your own pace. So inhaling as we come into that cat position as we round through that spine. And exhaling as we come into that cow position. And if that doesn't feel right to you, maybe you try it the opposite way and that feels better. That is a-okay. 2 more. And last one here, guys. When you're finished with those, go ahead and meet me in a tabletop position once again. Nice flat neutral spine. From here, we're going to come into a hip flexor stretch. All right, so it doesn't matter which foot you bring forward, but it's similar to what we saw in the beginning of class, where we've got one knee on the ground, one knee up in front, and that chest comes up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to tuck our pelvis underneath us and press forward. Not too far forward. I don't want to see this. Just a little bit forward until you feel a nice stretch. Again, kind of through that hip section of your obviously it's your hip flexor muscle, but right in that position where your abdominal muscles and your quad muscles meet. Should feel nice right there. And if we'd like, we can bring the same arm as the foot that's forward across our body for a nice big shoulder stretch. And if you want, you can roll that shoulder up, back, and down, rolling through the different parts of that deltoid, making sure we're grabbing either above our elbow joint or below it, but definitely not right on top of it. All right, guys, when you're ready, let's cartwheel those hands down to straddle that foot, and we're gonna come into a hamstring stretch, just like we saw at the beginning of class with our warm-up once again. So bringing those hips over our heels, popping that toe up off the mat, a little bit of a micro bend in that front foot, and a nice flat back. We can just hold here. If you'd like, you can kind of rock that toe up and back, maybe rotate that toe around, see how that feels in that hamstring. We should feel a nice big tug on the back of that hamstring, back of that leg. All right, guys, go ahead and bring that knee back to meet the other one, back into tabletop. We're gonna do the other side, so go ahead and bring the other leg forward for a nice big hip flexor stretch. Brace through your core as you come up. Again, we tuck that pelvis underneath us and then push forward for that hip flexor stretch. Feeling that nice, just slight tug, nothing crazy there. And then we can bring that same arm as the leg that's backwards across our body. Maybe we bring that shoulder up, back, and down, working through the different pieces of that deltoid muscle. Breathing through this as well. All right, go ahead and straddle those hands around that foot, coming into that hamstring stretch once again. So bringing those hips over those heels, popping that toe up off the mat, nice flat back, and a little bit of a micro bend in that knee that's straight. All right, guys, and if you kind of pointed and flexed that foot, I want you to do the same thing on this side. Once again, trying to be nice and even, maybe swiveling that foot just a little bit, seeing how that feels. All right, and when you're ready, go ahead, come back with that hip flexor stretch. Bring that knee to meet the other one into a tabletop. What we're gonna do is rock back onto those heels and then come to a standing position, just like this. Awesome job, guys. So we're gonna work those, or sorry, excuse me, not work, we're gonna stretch those quads. So go ahead, put one hand out and loop it behind you to grab those shoelaces. A nice micro bend in the standing leg, and if you need balance, you can put that opposite hand out. Or if you'd like a little bit more, we can loop that other hand behind us, tug just a little bit more. But our knees stay together, our hips press forward for a deeper stretch. All right, let's swap it up. So that other hand loops behind us to grab that heel, to grab that shoelace, the top of the foot. The other hand comes out for balance. And again, if we did it on the other side, let's loop that other hand around for a deeper stretch. All right, guys, our last stretch is going to be a nice big calf stretch. So what we're going to do is essentially kind of come into kind of a lunge, but that back leg is going to be nice and straight. So our front leg is bent, our back leg is straight, and we're just bending forward until we feel a nice tug in that back knee. We can place our hands on that front quad. Whew, feels nice and good. Again, a stretch that I rarely do, but it's definitely well deserved. All right, bring that back leg in to meet the other one, and let's swap it up. Maybe one of them is a little tighter than the other. You can also totally play around with how far back it is, how close to your other foot it is. All of those are gonna feel a little bit different. Maybe one feels better to you than the other. All right, guys, what time is it? Oh, we're right on schedule. Let's finish off, all right? Meet me here. Let's finish off with 3 nice big inhales together. So we're gonna go ahead and squat down. Inhale. And exhale as we bring those hands downwards. One more, sorry, two more. Inhale up. And exhale. And last one here, make it nice and big. I want to hear you guys all the way from across the country. And exhale. Amazing job, guys. Give yourselves a huge round of applause. Again, my name is Maddy. Thank you guys so much for coming. I will be back, I believe, for the next 4 Wednesdays at the same time. So if you'd like to join me, I would love to see you. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. But I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.